Hey guys, Dantix here, back with some more Cyberpunk 2077 news. We're at an arm's length away from release, so chop it off and replace it with some cool cyber mantis blades, which I'll be talking about soon. I'll also be talking about extended gameplay footage, dildos on sticks, a porn parody, DLC releases, release times, diving, guns and more, so buckle up. I just want to add that this month my channel received the highest amount of views for Cyberpunk 2077 news in the world besides the official channel. I want to thank you all for making that possible, and if you aren't already, chuck me a sub as it helps out more than you know. What you're now seeing is footage from Famitsu. It has extended scenes from the official gameplay trailer. There are cool things here like more accurate descriptions of what the mantis blades can do, and I'll be breaking this down soon. However, let's start with this. Yes, this is a Cyberpunk porn parody. This comes before the game's release, so I doubt it has any ties to the storyline at all, and with the title Cyberpunk XXX Parody 2077, I doubt it has much creativity involved, if any at all. Just give me 5 minutes and a cup of coffee and I could come up with 100 better titles. Cyberpunk 2069, You get the idea. It does claim to be in VR and 8K, so I'll leave it up to those interested to Google it, but it's very clearly just a way to try and piggyback off the popularity. While we're on the lewd topics, I thought I should mention that it's confirmed by CD Projekt Red that there is a nudity toggle. I mentioned that there's a streamer mode that turns off copyrighted music, but I just wanted to further confirm for those asking in the comments. I'm sure plenty of you get lewd feelings when I talk about the following man. During a recent earnings call, the CEO of CD Projekt Red mentioned that Keanu Reeves has played Cyberpunk 2077 and loves it. He says exactly, yes, he's played the game, but as far as I know, he hasn't finished it yet. But definitely, he has played the game and he loves it. If anyone deserves to play the game early, it's him, though I forgive anyone who's still a little jealous. The CEO goes on to say, regarding bugs, we're aware of them. Of course, something so gigantic cannot be free of them. But we think the level of bugs will be so low that the players won't see them, and fortunately, some of these problems were caused by general aspects and characteristics that, in many cases, are already corrected. He adds, what we will get in this final version is better than what we've seen in the previews. If this is true, it's comforting. A game of this scale always releases with problems, and it's nice to know that the CEO at least recognizes this and is working on them. Take a look at a game like Skyrim, which was riddled with game-breaking bugs day one and still has a few fringe bugs to this day, even though the community have more or less eliminated them with mods. If the final version is better than what the journalists got to play, then we're in for a smooth ride. Only the occasional bump that makes you spill your beer. I figure playing Cyberpunk would be like drinking and driving. On the same call, CD Projekt Red confirmed that they won't be announcing DLC prior to release as they once planned. Because of the delays, the DLC reveals will be moved back. The game will have a mix of free and paid DLC, similar to the scope of The Witcher 3, which honestly was some of the best DLC ever made, so we really can't complain about that. Though considering the game isn't even out yet, I'm sure there'll be plenty to keep us busy with the base game, so personally I'm not concerned about DLC announcements. Speaking of base game, there's a handy little time zone guide here to help you understand when the game will be able to be played based on where you live by CL60. For those in America thinking they will be waiting until December the 10th, this will be a pleasant surprise. Those ahead of Poland in the time zone will have to wait slightly longer than a midnight release. 10 AM isn't too bad though. But just to reiterate, this is a global release and everybody across the world lives in different time zones. Okay, Alana Pierce recently had an interview with both IGN and GameSpot in regards to their playtime with Cyberpunk recently. It's a long interview and mostly covers topics that I've already extensively covered, but there were a few things I want to talk about that I gathered from the interview. Tom from IGN mentions that one cool weapon he got to try was a tech rifle. As you know, tech weapons can be charged up and pierce through cover and walls. Tom would ping enemies, which highlights them, a skill that you get with your implants, and then ducks around into another room and picks off the enemies from relative safety. They would react once he starts shooting, but wouldn't immediately know where he is. Phil had a different experience with the sniper. He found a smart one. It could obviously home in on a target and curve around cover to reach them. Think curving biotic abilities in Mass Effect 2 and 3. Whereas Alana, even though she didn't get to play for the 16-hour session recently, got a chance to touch it at the start of the year, and her favorite was a shotgun that fired a burst of electricity like a taser, which had apparently a very satisfying sound. It's good to know that there is this level of variance in weapon types. A lot of people have been asking me this one, but thankfully it's answered here. What happens when you die? Well, it turns out you just restart from a checkpoint. Load a save, load a checkpoint. Quick save is going to be your friend. You can't save mid-combat, but you can before combat. So yes, you can save scum, but I'm glad for it because I kind of like to test outcomes. Though if you want to play a pure experience, try to hold yourself back a little from doing this. So when it comes to the nasty sex, as we know, the scenes will be in first person. You're experiencing it from your eyes. Phil did mention though that he didn't see any male nudity during his gameplay. Maybe because he played as a man having sex with a woman, but he did see a lot of breasts. Tom mentioned that he didn't even realize where a side quest was going, but he walked into a room and his character immediately entered into a sex scene. After, though, he was rewarded with a dildo on a bat as a melee weapon. Alana rightly says, "You got a weapon for having sex? That's the best." He also mentioned that to get to this stage, there were a fair few choices, so many people might not even experience that particular outcome. CD Projekt Red were apparently pretty tight-lipped about romances, and they got the impression that those are fairly big investments with bigger scene payoffs. We can see the teasers with Judy in the latest Cyberpunk trailers, so I have no doubt you'll be getting more intimate if you put in the legwork. Okay, so now let's break into the extra gameplay trailer scenes, starting off with an extended look at Panam, a woman you meet early on and do some side missions with. It's confirmed that she is a romance option for V. Then we get an extended scuba diving scene. We know the universe of Cyberpunk experienced all kinds of natural disasters because of greed of corporations, including rising sea levels. We see the divers exploring what looks like a sunken town. As per the official snippet here, rumors also tell of their underwater works in the Coronado Bay, so perhaps this is some kind of secret corpo base, which would explain why V is exploring underwater. Panam is looking quite done with V's shit here. I don't know if it's the game's engine that CPR used, but some of the young adults just look old in scenes. I digress, this is during one of the side missions with her. We can see a dust storm in the distance, a common occurrence in the Badlands. We know that dynamic weather is a feature in Cyberpunk 2077, and there's day and night cycles, so perhaps dust storms are part of this in this particular region. Then we're going to look at a few more customization options for V. We see the cyberware loadout screen again, but in this footage, we see a highlight of the mantis blades. They're rare, which means they won't be incredibly hard to get compared to legendary, and they have weight to them, only 400 grams, which seems pretty light, but at least your equipped mods won't add much to your carry weight. It says, mantis blades allow you to slice and dice your enemies with swift, deadly slashes. They also unlock the ability to leap towards a target and deal massive damage. To do so, hold and release your left click. Mantis blades deal physical damage. Due to the blade's inherently fast attack, speed, and combos, they can rapidly deal devastating damage, granting a higher chance to dismember the enemy. Very effective against an individual target. We've seen both the leap and the dismembering power of the blades before. Clearly it seems like the mantis blades are for those who want powerful reflex-based melee options. I figure getting gorilla arms will probably be the body-based melee option. The ability to close the distance with the mantis blade's leap will be invaluable for melee builds, as I'm sure you can leap and switch to a shotgun or a dildo on a bat if you so choose. The mantis blades seemingly have 3 mod slots, one of which is blue and taken up by the flavor text, deals physical damage and high dismember chance part, which leads me to believe that this is the mod that's slotted in. We've seen an electric damage mod on the blades before, and we'll see it again soon, so I wonder if slotting in the mods all extend the flavor text descriptions like this, or this is just something I'm misunderstanding. Then we get an extended look at the budget arm shotgun. The shotgun is cut out of a single piece of metal. What's cool though is the budget arms logo appears on the side as you shoot or pump, which is a nice little piece of detail. Then we have an extended look at the thermal katana and its dismemberment potential. As a single counter attack, which we know deals a lot of damage and can be boosted with perks by a substantial amount, decapitates the enemy immediately. The following swing takes off his arm. Another scene where we see a tutorial text box warning the player about enemy netrunners. To escape being hacked, you have to get out of sight or have to kill the hostile netrunner. You see V using mantis blades modded with an electric current. The first heavy attack seems to be deflected by the enemy, the next though breaks into the scene that we've seen a few times before, instantly killing the enemy. We've seen Jackie's famous dance before and V playfully pushing him away, the poor thing, but now we see how he reacts after. It's either security coming to check in and remove him, or it's trouble brewing. You can't really catch a break, can he? Now we get a slightly longer focus on the cyber psycho scene. Not sure why Takamura stops you, maybe it's for your sake. However, in an earlier scene, we see the cyber psycho jumping off his bike onto the car while swiping at you. This makes it seem like an on-rail section where you have to quick shoot him enough to get him off. Here's a good look at Johnny Silverhand in game, and another look at him somehow controlling your body. Something you hope he never perfects. Here is a flashback of Johnny rocking out with his band Samurai and Kerry, who will seemingly play a part in the game. Maybe you go and visit him and mention that Johnny is in your head. We finally have a good look at the Arasaka Cyber Baraka attack here. You seem to be trying to remove a link from a netrunner while he attacks. He busts through the crate with incredible speed but misses his swipe. If you don't fight him here, or eventually, I'll be incredibly surprised, but it seems to be enough room and cover to support the theory that this is a boss fight at the end of the heist mission. Here's an extended look at offering the stripper a shot. This may be one way to proposition them for more. Here we see V with Kerry going skinny dipping off what I assume is his yacht. Kerry has since become a successful solo artist after Samurai broke up, and he was shown during the wealthy section of the Style trailer, the Neo Kitsch, so it's all but confirmed he's living the high life. Might be a point of contention though. You'll notice that these are very feminine hands, so it could be female V, and this could be part of a relationship building section with Kerry. And that's all I have for you today. What do you think? Let me know below. If you're feeling generous, drop me a sub and hit that bell button. It helps the channel out far more than anything else. For everything cyberpunk and RPG, you're in the right place. Ciao friends.